Well, here's the second installment of the newly renamed Joey Jeff's Backyard. That should help in the search results. I'm in a very unusual part of the woods right now. I'm deep, 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 deep. It is so deep, I appear to be out of contact with civilization. So notice this swamp. I can't go any further. In the dry season I can go further, but not now. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the density. You can hear birds back here. Now notice the different style of the trail. No logs. Truly wild. Well, let's walk back to the more logged part of the trail. Oh God. I did the best I could to make this part of the trail tick safe. I carefully wanted to keep it very natural, but tick safe. So here's a tricky one. You gotta know what you're doing to get over this stick here, this branch. This is a real test of skill. So I gotta put my hand down. I lift my leg up. I lift the other leg up. I didn't touch anything. Hopefully no ticks. That's the last tick challenge. The rest of the path is theoretically tick-free-ish. So the trick is, I walked to the end with my handy clipper, clipped off all the new growth that's a tick risk, and now I'm walking back safely. Let's see if that's true. Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. Look at this. Look at this clearing. My God. My God. My God. One distant leaf blower. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Right. This is tricky here. Got a stone wall. I've carefully arranged the steps that you can go up and over this large log. Watch this, gotta be real careful. Up, go up. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Look at that, look at that. Look at that. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that nice? Walked right over that. Okay. Look at this tree. Isn't that a beauty? It's a real giant. We'll go back a few feet and we'll take a look at it. Now, in the distance is the cell tower. Do you see a few little things back there? Almost totally hidden in the summer, spring. What season are we in? Hard to say. Okay, look at this clearing. Look at that. Oof. That's amazing. Okay, there's that giant tree. Let's take a look at it. My God, it's tipped. Let's go take a look. Wow. How'd this tree get tipped? Sure is a giant. Ooh, a jet. Isn't that exciting? Oh boy, what a thrill. So there's a secret step here. We're gonna be heading back to this side. Hard to believe, you'd never guess. Watch this, watch the secret step. Cleverly hidden. Yeah, look at that. Huh? See? Look at that. Look at that hidden path. Who would guess? Let's go over here. Now we get to the stone wall. You have to be very careful climbing over this. This is dangerous. One false move, you hit the ground, you get covered with ticks. Did it. Did it. Look at that stone wall. This stone wall has the biggest rocks in the woods. We'll see it when we get close. Look at this clearing. Here's the stone wall we just came over. Look at that. What a feat of engineering. My God. I wish I could see my forebears who built this. Anyone have a time machine? I would love to have discussed what was going on. Huh? And we'll swing all the way around, 360. There's a stone wall. Okay, that's where we're headed. Okay, we're gonna see some giant rocks. Now, here's a very special bottle. I left it here on purpose. This is the special memorial bottle. Maybe one day I'll get rid of it. Hard to say though. Maybe I'll leave it here. Okay, here's the stone wall. Ooh, an old-fashioned propeller plane, not a rich person's private jet. Wow. Look at these rocks. They're gigantic. Look at this. Look at the size of these rocks. They're monstrous. What was the plan? Can you imagine the effort to move these rocks? I can't even imagine. Ancient megalithic civilization. To me, it looks like the people who built Stonehenge did this. Yeah. Now you'll notice this part of the woods has absolute. Now this is interesting. Look at this. There's like a little. That looks like a drill hole in the rock here. Somebody, I don't know. Did they do something? Stick something in? Crack the rock? But look at the size of that rock. Anyway, this is where we step to get over. And now this is interesting. Now, see that dark brown dirt there? There used to be a log. I'm going to show you the log that I pulled off the stone wall. So that there's the original log. It went out to that brown dirt, and then here's the log I pulled off. So I came into the woods in the late winter when there was no vegetation. I brought back my winch, and I pulled this log off this one. So there's a different style back here. There's no piles of wood. You know, if you really do need a trained eye to see if anything happened here. I mean, you can kind of see a walkway here. Not too obvious. Just a tick-free walkway. The residents of this area, they're not in touch with the rhythms of nature. So I assume to them, they wouldn't even know that anyone was ever back here. But we'd have to see if that's true. Here's another interesting step. Carefully step over this log. Oh, challenging. And we go over this stone wall. Okay. Oh yeah, another dangerous spot. One false move, you get covered with ticks here. Okay, tricky. Very tricky. Very tricky. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at that big flat rock. Who put that in the woods? Okay. Yeah. It's always a leaf blower. Always a leaf blower around here. Gotta battle nature. Kill every loose whatever. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Yeah. So here's the first evidence something's up. This tree right here, I cut this, but this one was way up in the air, so I had to cut it to make it easy to get through. Then this tree fell down. Yeah, you can see the other. This is how high it was. I cut it, and it was over here. But then this giant tree fell down. So I built these clever little, extremely natural steps. One step, two step. Here, nice view from up here. Let's take a look. Isn't that pretty? Get a load of this clearing. Wow. Look at that. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's real nice. Here's where I just came from. Look at this. Look at this wall. Wall of green. Wow, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we're going to step down now. Here's the step on the other side. Oh, very nice. There's the step. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see some kind of path here. Tick-free. Pulled out all the long stuff. So here's something interesting. This is very interesting right here. I'll take a few steps back so we can get a better view of it. But look at that ancient pile of trash. Yeah. And look at the ancient yellow antifreeze container that was out in the woods. I don't know if anyone can explain how that happened. Why was there an antifreeze container in the dead of the woods, the middle? Okay, look at this clearing. Isn't this an incredible clearing? Boy, look at that clearing. Look at that clearing. Birds. That's nice. There's some nice birds out here. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. I of course had to cut every vine I could find, so obviously those in the know would say that doesn't look natural, but it looks natural to me. That's what counts. It's a nice tree. Unfortunately, no crashed Starship remnants back here. That's pretty rare. Yeah. A little work back here. Very subtle. Very subtle. And now this is interesting. We're coming to the end. So I didn't need to, in retrospect, I now see I didn't need to make that cut, but I believe it was up in the air. Actually, I think I did need to make that cut. Yeah, it was up in the air. So I cut that. There's the piece I cut. I had no choice. I had no choice. Hopefully nobody feels that it interferes with the beauty of nature. And finally we get here. I put in some artistically designed steps. So we're going to step over this big rock. And then I got this piece right here, an interesting step. So let's, oh, look at that. We're back to the other trail. Okay, and so you could see that this looks pretty natural. So you're going along, you get to this point, you just kind of step. There's the step, and then you head off into that wild trail. So well, that's the end of the second installment of Joey Jeff's Backyard.